Okay, everyone, welcome to episode 4 of Yomicast. Today we're going to do Setsuki versus Arg, and we've got Blinky playing Arg and Fivec playing Setsuki. So welcome to those. Oh, and we've got co-commentary with vivafringe as well.
Hello.
So hi Blinky.
Hey.
Right, so you recently won the tournament with Arg. Again, playing against Setsuki in the finals with I Can't Web. How did you think that went?
I think it went pretty well. I don't think it's very good for Arg, so it's quite hard to keep Setsuki away. Also, I lost to him 2-0 earlier, so
But you've really given a name for Arg because he was highly underrepresented before, and all of a sudden he just won a tournament. How do you think he compares with your Arg? With your alum.
not too sure about that one. I've been playing Arg so much recently that I actually think that could be better than my Lum, but I still claim to be a Lum main.
I think your Argagarg is way stronger, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, funnily enough, I also think your Arg is stronger. Maybe because of lack of familiarity with the matchup. But yeah, your Arg is pretty dangerous.
But one of the reasons I started using Arg, well, I enjoyed him, but I felt that there wasn't any tournament results on him, so I wanted to do the tournament just to get results and see how I did, and I ended up winning, so.
Yeah, that was really good. So just quickly, what tools do you think you're going to be using against sets here? What are the key moments you're going to look for?
Well, obviously, Speed of the Fox is a big turning point, because, well, that just gives her a lot of options, which I potentially may not know what she has. So, Ace Block, obviously, good against when she attacks, and slows her down quite a lot, and a lot of free damage, so can't complain. Queen is quite useful when they try to do a mix-up, because obviously, Knockdown could try and beat the Ace Block, so Queen is potentially quite good. It trades with 2, quite favourably actually. 7 throw and ability, both very useful, because obviously it slows Speed of the Fox, and the throw can beat Setsuki, so it really depends on the situation, but both are useful. 9 throw, pretty much useless.
So Arg really has to play this keep away game as usual, but even more so because Sets has got this rush down approach.
Yeah, also something that this allows is that because Arg will pretty much never win on the same card played, like say attacks, Arg will normally lose. That means that he's allowed to go for high risk for very little additional risk. So I could start with say a 5, end up with kings or aces.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realise how important the ace attack is because it does a reasonable amount of damage and it's pretty fast.
It loses a bit of its threat in this matchup in terms of speed, but it's still very well. You can hit confirm it when she tries to throw. That's quite a nice bit of damage.
It's also important to know that queens are just a scarce resource here, so as she uses more and more queens, the ace-ace attack gets better and better and better.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, definitely. Sets really needs to save 1 or 2 sevens as well for the end game in case she needs to draw back those queens. If she burns all 4 and she's got no sevens, then she's starting to struggle a bit and she has to rely on Jack a lot more.
Not only that, but it means that Arg 7 is quite powerful as well.
Yeah, definitely, because Sets won't be actually using it, and that's going to beat all her other throws.
So I think a lot of this matchup is tricking the Setsuki player into attacking into your ace block. How are you planning on getting that done? Because in my opinion, if you don't land ace block, you lose. At least in my experience.
It is possible to win without it, but it's much more difficult. The ace block does change things quite a lot. If you can keep that going for like 5 turns, it can easily become a win. Normally, throwing out a few attacks is quite good. It stops them from throwing, and even if she dodges and you use the block, it's obviously you would prefer them to attack, but it's better than nothing.
So your plan is going to be to attack early and then try and bait out the queens and stuff, so you can ace block them.
Yeah. Also, looking to see when the throws are, because obviously if they burn out a lot of sevens quite early, I could probably get in a cheap seven. That may start to make them attack as well if I was beating them with throws, or if they were just running out of fast throws.
Yeah, so basically you're trying to create a situation where Setsuki's going to get a bit loose with the attacking and then hopefully run into your ace block.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, and the devastating thing is that Setsuki's taking more and more damage when you've got ace up. You've got the bubble shield up, and that's quite a lot of life relative to Setsu's total HP.
Yeah, it does hurt her quite a lot. She sometimes tries to counter with 10. I can counter that. It's quite useful if they're low on cards because you get to see two of their cards. If they're holding something like a 5 and a 6, it's not very good for them.
Yeah, it's a big risk for Sets because if it does get countered, as you said, she loses two of her hidden cards really. But sometimes she needs to do it to get down to her 0 or 1 cards for Speed of the Fox.
Another good use for it, yeah. Generally, Arc's 10 is not very useful as a combat card here, so it's pretty much saved just for counters, and maybe a late game power up, but it doesn't regularly happen.
Okay then, so I think we've got a good idea of what you're going to do with Arg. Unfortunately, Fivec hasn't got a mic, so we're just going to have to discuss what Setsuki is going to do during the match. So best of luck with your game, and we'll speak to you later.
Cheers.
Okay, so we're going to start. Just having a quick look at Setsu's hand. She had a queen, 2 6s, 2 5, 8, and a 10. In my opinion, that's not a bad start. It's got a bit of variety, and hopefully it can flow into a Speed of the Fox.
And Fivec has said something funny. He said Scrubby Sets opener for the win. And yeah, Queen, I think you'd almost never see it but from people here because everyone starts opening with Queen and people just get conditioned to block. And so he's sort of done the level 0, which at the same time is level 3 play by playing Queen first.
Yeah, it's a very, very strong opener, but at the same time, it's anyone can do it, and it's very easy. And I think what I start doing is throwing out slightly slower attacks just to fool them into not believing I've got a queen, and then bringing it out later. So sometimes I'll start off with a jack or a 2 because they seem a bit more realistic choices.
Right. Let's see. Now he's thinking about what to do. Like the level 0 thing is to dodge here, but he might go for something tricky now that he's shown himself to make the obvious play.
So you can see what Sets did was she ended up with 3 cards, one of them being a 10, and you can see her stopping Hex of the Mirkwood to get rid of those cards into Speed of the Fox. So Sets has a few number of options.
And Blinky is not deterred from his plan. He's just going to keep on throwing out these just horrible, unsafe attacks, which seems to actually work okay because if they hit, they just do so much damage.
Yeah, with Sets being a lot faster, if they both throw out an attack or if they both throw out a throw, Sets will win just purely on speed. So it's really not that much of a risk for Arg to use unsafe attacks like 5 or 6, and they can lead into things like ace, which are pretty nasty, or normal jack or whatever.
Right. Let's see. I'm going to be curious to see if he pumps with that ace. I would not pump with the ace.
Yeah, with 3 other aces in deck, he's got a pretty good chance of getting another one. And he's hit one right there. So now he's got a fantastic hand. Lots of mix-ups. He's got a king to end in knockdown. He's got the ace to finish in 17 damage. It's a pretty strong opener.
And this is why I believe Argagarg is at a disadvantage here, is because just besides Bubble Shield, which is a good option, any option that Setsuki does will be 2 of his options, basically, almost always. So
Yeah.
as a result, like all of these are really strong things. So if he just keeps playing random attacks, he should be able to get it soon.
Right, and Arg's just managed to pull off that ace block. He's baited it baited Sets into keep attacking. So let's see how long he can hold this up for. We're just going to switch over to Arg's side and see what he's got.
So I think the standard play is to dodge here, but because everyone dodges after they get a bubble shield up, sometimes people mix it up. So I'm curious to see what he'll do here.
I think he's actually going to throw out his jack. I think Blinky likes to throw out a lot of fast attacks here, even though it's wildly unsafe, especially against Setsuki.
He went for the throw, which is, he tried to mix it up, and I think he should have just dodged there. But I guess I shouldn't say that, because I've seen that Setsuki has attacked again. Oh, I think he's forgotten about Bubble Shield, though. Or maybe he just wants to dump his hand.
Yeah, he might just want to dump his hand. If I wasn't going to dump my hand, I would still play the king just for the knockdown.
I don't know, that was a pretty good hand, though. It had ace-ace in it, and a king, and a 7. That seems kind of weird. Okay, he said, wow, so that was a mistake.
Yeah, he obviously forgot about Bubble Shield, which he can't really afford. That was a brain fart, apparently.
And he's using Bag of Tricks, which I don't agree with.
No, I think when Sets uses it, she slows down herself, even though she's giving herself a lot of options. The maximum damage she generally does is Queen Starter for 9 damage, and then into normal, and then King. So you're doing somewhere between 15 and 21 damage max, really. And it's not really stable, especially against Argagarg, who just wants the longer game.
Against a guy with counters, I think it's just an especially bad move. I mean, I like using 7 for its ability in general when there's a 7 in the discard, so that sort of guarantees that it'll have a fast throw anyway. But against a counter character, I am usually very wary of doing that.
Right, so we're just entering middle game now. It's pretty even so far, but I think Sets is slightly behind since she's on a slight life disadvantage and she's being poisoned every turn.
Well, maybe. Argagarg is kind of low on cards. Let's see if he doesn't. Well, he's sculpted a decent hand, but his throw is really slow. Is the only thing I would say, and it's just a small hand. So Setsuki has the advantage in that sense, in that she's just got a lot more cards.
Yeah, I think Arg is actually one of the better characters to handle without too many cards. He seems to just want to play the long game, and he can afford to just play 1 or 2 cards at a time.
That's definitely true. So now, Setsuki's landed a key attack. Argagarg can only take so many of these. They really hurt.
Now, is he going to go into that king pump, or is he going to go into the knockdown? And he's gone for the speed of the fox there, so he wants to get rid of it all.
Yeah,
he's not afraid to dump that 10 either, which I think it's not too bad at the moment. But
because he played 3-4-5, he has to search out an ace. So dumping the 10, I think, is necessary.
Yeah, I've just seen that now, and I probably would have linked in between the normal, so I wouldn't get the ace.
Oh, and hold on to the 10? That might be better. I don't know. It's hard to say. He didn't know that Blinky was going to Joker there. It would have been a lot of damage if he hadn't.
Yeah, definitely. It probably would have taken Blinky down to like 10 life or so. So it was quite a lot.
So my favorite thing to do out of Speed of the Fox is to throw, because they just always block. But he's gone for the obvious move again for the queen.